Hello, hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Forgive me, guys, but something struck me a little funny. I watched some YouTube tonight, and can't we all just get along? People fighting over camshaft choices? Are you kidding me? Who's smarter? My theory is, if you really have a problem with somebody, why don't you guys put an engine together, see whose engine makes the most power, or just put an engine together and swap the cam out and see who makes the most power. That's settled out argument instead of getting all technical with numbers. Proof is in the horsepower. More important, the proof is in the car down the track. So I'm going to put my little 2 cents on this, and that's about all it is 2 cents, because I'm going to tell you guys something, and you guys might disagree with me. People are too technical. And the reason I say that is because of this. You'll have one guy go buy the book mathematically, spend the money on the best head, have a cam guy pick the cam out for him, spec everything, do every trick in the book, and you'll see the car get his doors blown in down the track with some little guy like me. Not that I'm anybody. There's just a lot of guys out there like me. Just throw stuff together. And my son. This ain't about me. This is about people fighting on YouTube. And the ego is getting away. Number one, my feelings this about this situation. When you have an older gentleman that's been around for years, why don't you guys cut him a little bit of a break? Number one, if he wants to think what he thinks and his methods are right, is it going to hurt you guys to humor somebody for a change? You guys in California, whoever you are, that's what I heard. It don't matter if you're from Jersey, where I'm at. Treat your elders with respect, if nothing else. That should be more important than a camshaft to me, or somebody making power. To belittle somebody, that's what this video is really about. Because if you have to resort to that, to make somebody else feel bad about how they do things, regardless of what you think, then keep it to yourself. Or don't watch their channel. That's how I look at that. But I'm going to give you my little cam ideas here. Here's my cam. I'm really concerned about this camshaft because it's for my 460 and it's not what I picked out. This was a Christmas present for my son. And he says, Dad, it's used. And the reason I got it used, Dad, is because the lifters are having problems with these camshafts. And that's already broken. It was out of an engine. The guy numbered the lifters. And my son listens to pretty much things I say. I don't always know he's listening when I say something, but I told him years ago that the Comp 292 cam was the cam I would have picked out back in the day, and that's what this is for. This is a memorizing thing for me to go back in time. And I never got the cam that I wanted for my truck. My son's trying to make it happen for me. Give me the same basic thing I would have had back then. So is this the best choice for me? No. And my son don't even like comp cams. But here's a thing to think about. All these guys arguing about what cam timing is best. I heard not one of them bring up this fact to take the head into consideration. And somebody might say that doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is my opinion. My 2 cents. That's about all it's worth. Is this. If you don't take that head into consideration, especially when you have a head that doesn't breathe, then putting a cam in there that is supposed to be mathematically 100% correct, it might not be correct. I've seen guys do this stuff by the book before in their methods, and I've seen a guy, like I said, just throw something together and mop it up. I have a friend that has a speed shop. He told me the high-tech motor that he put together, I had all the money into, let him down. A little old 6-cylinder that he was doing, don't laugh because it goes 10 seconds before you say, oh, 6-cylinder, no wonder. Yeah, Chevy, straight 6. So, and it ran that back 40 years ago, okay? So, in a 68 Camaro, and it wasn't real lightened up. So, anyway, getting to that, I wanted to make sure you guys know just how good that was for that time period. The engine that he had put together and thrown together ran better than the one that was all specced out. That's my point. So now, it's like this here. If I go with this camshaft, which I am, if I picked out a cam perfect for that engine, mathematically, how much is it going to pick up? Is it going to pick up 100 horsepower? No, it won't, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it has low compression, and it has a head that doesn't breathe that well. Now, they're going to be okay when I'm done with them, but it's not something that's going to set the world on fire. So anytime you have a head that's restricted, that's actually going against the grain, trying to be mathematically with a cam. When you have an engine that's low compression, you're better off staying low profile with the camshaft and bleeding off the compression. That's the way that I think. If you have a low compression engine and you're putting a cam in there, it's going to bleed the duration off. The duration is going to bleed the compression off, rather. Then you're better off with a stock cam in it. So until you start putting compression behind the engine and having the engine call for more duration with the RPM band you're turning it and stuff, you're better off leaving it low profile. So now let's get into something that has a good head. Well, it's a little bit more crucial then, and I can prove that by this statement right here. You take a little 302 Ford and throw a cam in it with the stock heads. How much horsepower does that engine pick up? I hear you guys, 20, 30 horsepower, depending on the cam specs, of course. But you're going to get about 30 horsepower increase out of that. Okay, if you get lucky, 40. But yeah, if you take an LS engine, which has a good head, bigger cubic inches, but we'll put that equation aside. An LS from a factory cam will pick up 100 horsepower. So, why would that be? It's because that head is calling to be able to breathe better with more duration and more lift. So, my point is a little bit different than the point they're making, because they're talking about the overlap and cam timing events. But my theory is this. I've seen guys overcam so many engines trying to be technical, and my friend is one of them. He listened to better engine builders than him, he thought, and put a bigger cam in his engine, and it slowed down. And then he put the cam that he thought was good for it, 700 lift, and this was in a big block Chevy, standard bore, 454, and that motor went 790 at 170 in a 68 Camaro. So now, he had steel heads on it at that time when he did the cam swap. But when he put the Brodock heads on, which picked up 1/10 of a second, and he was mad about that because he put Brodock heads on, and he goes, I just picked up what I got in weight here, no horsepower difference. He was mad, 1/10 of a second, after spending all that money for the Brodock heads from a steel square port Chevy head. But the cam that he had in there before, in my opinion, went faster with the aluminum heads on it. Speculation, my opinion, but I'm going to say this. The guys that are real technical, I think you guys sometimes overthink stuff, and that's fine. But I've noticed that a lot of times it doesn't help make any more power. Believe it or not, guys, I know what my truck will run already. I did a little YouTube video a while back, and you guys were really wonderful at taking guesses how fast you think it will go. And everybody did a super job on that. It had numbers all over the place, but every one that put a guess in there was actually right when it came down to depending on how the truck's built. With ported heads, stock heads, some people had low compression figured, other guys had cubic inches figured. But we went on a 460. We had a little small cam, my friend did, in his Cougar. And then he upped the camshaft to a bigger, more radical camshaft. But the engine wasn't where it had a lot of compression. It's a low compression engine, and that camshaft didn't really help that engine out. I think all tuned in, and finally everything he threw at it, I think he might have picked up a 10th later on down the road with it. But when he first took the car out, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I'm going back about 25 years, I don't think it helped it at all. And it was a pretty good jump from what he had. So my point's this, guys. Don't overthink everything. Do the best you can picking your parts. If you got a chance to get a used camshaft and you're building something low budget, just get it. That's what we do. We don't buy new camshafts. We get what we have handed down to us. We've gone 9 seconds with this car right here. It's not a race car. It is a street car. Anderson cam. Catalog cam. And I really don't like the camshaft. But would it go any faster? Would it go? What would it go if I had a perfect camshaft in there? Would it pick up 100 horsepower? No. Would it go 2 tenths faster? Maybe. Would it slow down 2 tenths? Maybe. But it's already in the 9s. With a 302 stock bottom end with steel E7 ported heads. With a dual plane intake. So, why bother? Same with this car. So, it's not like I'm just speaking without having something to kind of back up what I say. I believe in this, fellas. Save your money. Now, I'm not saying put some junk cam in something that won't work. If somebody had a cam laying there and you have an 8-to-1 engine and they say, hey, I got this cam over here and it's 600 lift and has a 308 advanced duration on it, you don't want that camshaft. You're better off leaving the stock cam in there. But if somebody offers you a cam for $100 and you have an LS and they say it's a stage 1 cam, grab it. Put it in there. And then later on, change it and put what you want in there if you're having where you're trying to do a budget build. I'm a budget guy. That's where I come from. That's what I believe in. And my question is this, and this isn't about trying to make anybody look bad or feel bad. How many guys have stroker engines that won't even go 9 seconds with aluminum heads? There it is, guys. I hate to use this car for the example all the time, but what am I supposed to do? It's full of stuff right now. My son wants to redo it, but that engine that did this 9-second pass came out of a car that was just street driven. So it's not a race engine. It was a 302 out of another car. Same with that. Old 302s, guys. That's all they are. They're not cheater engines. They don't have the concrete blocks or lifters done up in them where we're cheating. Anything like that. So I just want to stress that point because people always want to get thinking you have something more than what you have. And I want people to know you guys can do the same thing with a budget. It's just the right combination. But here we go with the camshafts. I'm not very technical. I'm not going to try to be technical because when you can go nines with junk, then that's good enough for me. That's what I got to say about this stuff. Now, if you're building something high tech and you want to make your money count and you want to do your investigations and cross-reference with everybody and make sure you're getting the right camshaft, well, the knowledge is out there for that. You can just go to anybody and say, hey, what do you have in your LS? A stage 3 cam. Okay. You know you're going 10s or 9s or whatever. What turbo cam do you have? What make cam is it? What more do you need? Do you need to really beat your brains out and get all technical? And, oh, this guy said these numbers is what you need. This other guy said this number is what you need. That guy's wrong. This guy's wrong. Not when you can already turn the number that you want to turn with a catalog cam. Now, if you have an engine builder that says, I think this engine would call for a certain camshaft, there's nothing in the catalog, and the guy knows what he's doing, and he makes big power, and for the same price, you can have a cam ground to your specs. That's always a good thing. But my point is, guys, don't listen to all the hype. Have fun building what you have, especially if you're building something just to go out there to have a little bit of fun with. It's not going to matter if you have the top-notch camshaft or a cam that's not so great. We have a car right now, a friend of ours. He's going 11 O's at 128 mile an hour, I believe, on the nitrous. The car, if it had a better converter, we figured out we'd go about 1040s, 1020s on the bottle. And it's a stock 302 with ported heads. And he has stock bottom end 302, ported heads with a dual plane intake. The same intake we told him to use that we have on this car. And he's having fun. And he has one of the crappy cams that we wouldn't pick out. But it's a crappy cam. It's one of the alphabet cams in that car. And then you would tell somebody how fast that car is. They're like, oh, what cam's that? I want that cam. The camshaft's not what's making that thing run. It's how it's tuned. And that's mostly what it comes down to. He has the right timing in it. The nitrous is coming in where it should be. The converter is what's hindering it right now. But outside of that, the rest of the car, combination-wise with the engine, is pretty good. So I hope this little example, I've been all over the place with this segment, but I get thinking about things. I hope this examples I'm giving you is some help to somebody trying to pick a camshaft out. Because I'm going to tell you what, guys, this is good enough for what I'm doing right now. And if it don't run how I want, I'll change it. It's a camshaft. I'll change it if I don't like it. That's how I look at it, guys. So anyway, I want to thank you for listening to this. And all I try to do is help. If there's nothing else you got out of this segment, is this. Let it be this, rather. Let's all be good to one another. Let's enjoy racing. We're all in the cars together. So if one guy has a little bit more knowledge than the other guy, or if you disagree with the other guy, you don't have to put him down. So if it's that big a deal, make a challenge. Like I said, put a 350 engine together, a mutual build, and swap your cams out and see who's right. But if you're not going to put up, when somebody asks you to prove a point with them, then you shouldn't say anything. Now, I will say that and add that because that's what happened in this case. The guy offered a challenge, and then the guy supposedly got quiet. So if you're going to say something, be willing to back it up, but do it in a friendly manner. Just Terry's 2 cents, guys. Have a good night, everybody. And thanks for listening. God bless you.